This is the Low Key Podcast. I do not own the rights to the music that's being played in future podcasts or past podcasts. This is the Low Key Podcast, episode 29, Life Ain't Free.
Hey, sweetheart.
Jasmine has something to tell you. It's gonna be a blessing, Dad. But you have to get out of here to be a part of it. I'm gonna need you.
I used to be just like you. I had a wife I loved. I had a family and a home. But then something happened.
What's going on? You down tuned into the Low Key Podcast, episode 29, Life Ain't Free. I'm going to be getting into the For Life series. And I'm basically going to be talking about a couple things, especially for the people that who have not seen the For Life series. And I want to give some insight on people who haven't checked out the show to let you know you should check out the show. Not only for the entertainment value, but not only for 50 Cent, who is the executive producer of the show, but just for the lessons of the show and to learn some of the things about the justice system and how it is towards black people and black males, and just how not only the justice system works, but how the prison system works and everything that goes in behind those doors, and even the laws of the land as far as it pertains to how things work behind prison when it comes to prisoners and prison guards and even wardens or whatnot. This is one of them shows where I'm not going to say it's one of my favorite shows, because it's not. Like, I appreciate the storytelling and I like the characters, and a lot of the things that goes on, especially in season 1, is one of the good things about the show, and not knowing what's exactly going to happen with this guy, because this show is loosely based on the story of Isaac Wright Jr., who was a guy that was wrongly convicted and got himself free, as far as I know, who did the classes behind when he was in prison, who became a lawyer while in prison and ended up freeing himself. So the show is loosely based on that. A lot of the things that goes on in the show had nothing to do with Isaac Wright Jr., but being what the things he did. And if you want to read up on more on Isaac Wright Jr. and his story, you can, and you will see a lot of things and reason why this show is loosely based on him. But this is a decent show, man. It's a real decent show. It's not a perfect show, but it's a decent show. And a lot of the characters is what really drives the show. And a lot of the things, especially, and I'm going to say this too, give a lot of credit to the bad guys of the show. Like, let's go ahead and make that clear. And these are the guys that's like the prosecutor, the guy that's really trying to keep the character, which is played by, I can't pronounce this guy's name, Nicholas Pinnock, but he's the guy that's playing Aaron Wallace. Aaron Wallace is the main character of the story For Life. He's the guy that's basically a prisoner who becomes a lawyer and tries to fight to overturn his life sentence for a crime he didn't commit. And that's not a spoiler or anything. That's pretty much the premise of the show, and it's in the trailer. But as far as I know, Isaac Wright Jr., who the show, like I said, is loosely based on, has even some writing credits in some of the episodes of the show. But like I said, 50 Cent is executive producer of the show, and he actually is in the first season of the show. He's one of the prisoners, and I'm not going to get too much into it in case you haven't seen it. But you have Aaron's wife, and you have his daughter, and you have one of his best friends. And I'm not going to get too much into what's going on with them outside of what is going on with Aaron and what he's trying to do with his case. But it's a lot going on outside of the prison with his family, and that's engaging too, and wanting to know what's going on with them and how he's going to be able to deal with that while trying to do everything he's trying to do as far as get his freedom. Then that's what I mean by the character building and development, and that's really good on the show. It really is. And some of the characters that Aaron interacts with while he's in prison, and one of those characters is named Jamal. this is one of his friends that he has in prison. And this is a guy that you definitely are going to be rooting for in this show. That's one thing I got to say. And the next thing I will say is Glenn Maskins. He's the prosecutor, and you are going to despise this guy. I'm telling you, if you watch this show, you're going to despise this guy. He's the guy that's basically trying to keep Aaron Wallace from getting his freedom. And it's a lot going on with these guys and these two. I mean, Glenn Maskins is basically Aaron Wallace's arch villain enemy. You know what I'm saying? He's really, really, really going after this guy. And it's so crazy just to see how you have an innocent person. This guy knows, not only does he know he's innocent, but with everything that's going on around him, and you start to see the development of how they even arrested him and everything that goes on with that case is so good and it's so explosive as far as the development. And then when you see the things he's trying to do for other convicts while he's in prison trying to get his own freedom, that's just adds so much more to the story. And one of the main reasons I want to talk to this because it is a season 2 that currently just started in, I think, November. And I'm going to have to catch up with it. I have only probably watched 2 episodes of it and let it kind of lackluster and fall behind. And I got to be honest, it's just some of the things with season 2 that's not as strongest for me as it was with the first season that made me say, okay, I got to come back each week and watch this. But this season, it's kind of like, I'm not saying it's not good, and that's the reasons why I said I'm going to have to check it out and keep watching it because it could get even better. It might even be better than this first season, but I'm going to have to see. But one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, like I said, is for people who haven't probably seen it because I don't see a lot of people that I know personally that talks about this show. So what I'm saying is this show is engaging. That first season definitely is very engaging. And I'm talking about from the first episode going into the next one because you want to see this guy win. I'm telling you, that's the thing about the acting on this show for all the characters. Like, you want to see certain people succeed and you want to see certain people go down. And you do one thing for sure, though, is that you want to see the main character, which is Aaron Wallace. You want to see him succeed. You definitely want to see him succeed. And it shows what I really like about this show is that it doesn't show like, you know how you have certain shows that give their main character like that win, like he's going to get this. He got this. With this show, you do not know. You do not know if he's going to win that case or not. You don't know. And it almost gets to a point where, man, is he going to get out? Because like I said, this is loosely based on Isaac Wright Jr. So they could have flipped it and been like, yo, we could do something else as far as if he gets out or not. Like, we can maybe have it where he's actually staying in and doing something else as far as other inmates or outside people who are coming in as far as getting arrested or wrongly convicted or whatnot. So it's a lot of things I feel like they could have done. So that's why I say you have to watch it for yourself to even find out what goes on with him. Because I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he does get free because it's a possible chance that he does not get free. Because like I said, it's a lot that goes on. It's a lot. And that's one of the exciting things about watching each episode, especially with that first season. And even 50 Cent, because I was almost hesitant to say, all right, man, y'all gonna bring 50 Cent in the show. Not like with Power, because 50 Cent was made for that. I mean, that show wasn't big until like season 3 as far as Power go. And him being on it, like I said, didn't really make a difference until like he started doing other things. And now, like at this point, like he is a lot bigger than he was at that point when he first started doing Power. Like he a lot bigger, so I was just worried was that going to distract the show or was it going to take anything away from the show? And to my surprise, it didn't when he came onto the show because he doesn't come on the show like at the very beginning of the season. It's kind of in the middle, and I'm not going to give anything away and even tell you what's going on with him, but his presence on the show doesn't take anything away from any other characters. It actually makes sense for his character to be on the show. And it's a lot of things that goes on with his character that you are like, okay, I don't even notice this is 50 Cent. And I'm not saying 50 Cent is out here doing some crazy acting or he's going crazy with it or whatnot, but this is not Kanan, is what I'm saying. Don't get me wrong. His character is not like the nicest guy in the world on this show, but it's not Kanan. It's a different type of character. And when you see it, I think you would notice what I'm talking about. But the girl that plays Aaron Wallace's daughter, man, I'm telling you, the scenes with Aaron and his daughter, the main character that's been wrongly convicted, is in jail, that's trying to free himself. Them on some amazing and some tear-jerking scenes for real. Because as a man, you know what I'm saying, as a father, and you know something happened to you like in that situation, and you trying to explain to your daughter, your child, that, yo, I'm going to try to be there. I'm trying to be there, this and the third. And it's a situation that happens with his daughter that goes on with his daughter, and where he's like, man, it's like, wow, yo, they going there. And I don't want, like I said, I'm not going to give anything away, but that's what I'm saying. It's so many elements with this show, and it's not just him trying to free himself. It's everything that's going on with his family. It's everything that's going on with what the prosecutors are trying to do. And it's everything that's going on with inside the prison, because it's a lot of things that goes on with him that got nothing to do with the case or whatever he's trying to do as far as freeing himself. It's a lot that goes on inside the prison with him. Just him trying to, you know what I'm saying? It's prison. So he's trying to make do and do what he has to do, because I'm not even going to tell you how much time they show him being in prison or if he's even in there a certain amount of time or not. Like I said, you have to watch it for yourself and find that out. Because once you get into once you get into knowing what's really going on and everything, it's heartbreaking. It really is. Because this is, like I said, loosely based on a real person that went through this situation. And you have other people that have been through this situation. Just like the recent movie that came in, and this is nothing like that. I don't think they went there with this, and they probably should have, to make this show better, but this is nothing like When They See Us, the Netflix movie about the 5 young guys that was wrongly convicted and went to prison for all those years. And they were finally free at one point in time. But that's what I'm saying. You have so many stories like this out here. And that's why watching this show, you like, damn, man, can you imagine going through that? Can you imagine a crime being committed and you had nothing to do with it, but you end up being put on trial for this crime that you had nothing to do with? And not only been put on trial, you're being convicted and taken away from your family, being taken away from everything you know for something you didn't do. It's one of the worst things in the world. You don't want to wish it on your worst enemy. And when you watching this show and watching this person go through these things, it's like, man, because you thinking, could you do that? That's what I'm saying. You thinking to yourself, could you be able to make those kind of conscious decisions? Could you be able to hold it together for that time being, not knowing what's going to happen and what's going to go on while you are trying to deal with a situation that you have no control over? And that's why watching the show, like For Life, it gives you an input on what these guys go through who are going through these situations. And like I said, When They See Us, I feel like done it the best. But at the same time, this is a whole different time. But at the same time, this is also in New York. And I think When They See Us is also based off New York and situations down there. And you've seen a lot of corrupt things in that city with certain situations, man, especially with police and certain things. But I'm not even going to get in all of that. I'm still, like I said, sticking with the show. And like I said, this show dives deep into those situations. And it's not just even with Aaron Wallace's story, as far as the main character of this show. It gives you a perspective on other inmates when he has to do certain situations. And like I said, I don't want to give anything away, but just seeing those situations play out, not with just him, but other stories, as far as other black men behind the wall, as far as being in prison, and them telling you what's going on with them and why they got locked up, because some of them have stories similar to his, and some of them are just straight up saying, yo, I did do this, but the crime that I did is not what the time I got should be. It shouldn't work like that. You know how it is with drugs or whatnot. Like, ain't it was a situation, or it still is, where, for instance, you can get less time for manslaughter than you would for having cocaine. Because a long time ago, with marijuana, and you have these situations, like, I'm not going to get into all that, okay? We talking about the show, my bad. But I'm just saying, just seeing the situations with these inmates, and when he's trying to do certain things and make certain things happen, and you see how much the wall is against him as far as Aaron Wallace, and how much everything is stacked up against him, and they don't stray away from that. They don't make it seem like, okay, he can just do it, he's Superman. No, they show the breakdown, they show the mentality of what could happen to you if you feel like damn, I'm trying everything, but it's like nothing is working. Like, my prayers are not being answered, and that's why I'm saying they putting you in his shoes as far as being a person that's just watching from the outside looking in. Like, damn, man. And that's what I'm saying about having to deal with those situations. Like, putting yourself in those shoes and saying, could I do this? Not only could I do this, could I survive this? Because you think about everything that would go on with a person's mentality, not only saying that you innocent, but being locked up and innocent, man, I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine it. But that's the reason now. It ain't about you even imagine it. It's about you getting a glimpse of it with these certain shows, like When They See Us and For Life. And I keep having to mention When They See Us because of the situation with it, and people being locked up, black men being locked up, and they're innocent, and just seeing the repercussions behind those situations, and seeing what happens to a person after they've been in situations for a certain amount of time. Like, it's heartbreaking, like I said, man, it is, because you look in the mirror and you being a black man and seeing other black men go through these situations, and not only black men, but black kids, as far as young black kids, young black males. It's crazy. And I'm not excluding females either, but you just notice that you see these situations more often with black males than black females. Or it could be a situation where we're just not hearing about it as much with females as we are with the black males. But either way, you had certain similar situations, like with the young lady that was released from prison after she had been locked up for a long time. And I can't think of her name right now, but yeah, this show, like I said, puts you in situations where you're like, man, how is he going to do this? Or how is this guy going to free himself? Because it's you're going up against the government. You know what I'm saying? And we know how powerful the government is and what they can do. And seeing what he does, what I really like about this show is they don't make it like it's not believable. Like, it's actually believable. Like, okay, I can see this happening. This could happen. And the way he maneuvers and the way he does stuff to make sure it either somewhat could come out his way, or it's going to make either the prosecutor look bad or make him look crazy. Man, I'm telling you. And give credit to the guy that plays Aaron Wallace on this show. He definitely got to get some kind of award, because the passion he puts behind this guy and making you feel everything this guy's going through, being in prison and saying he's innocent and trying to fight for his innocence, is crazy. It's phenomenal just to see what they do with that character. And that's why I said I have to continue engaging in season 2. But like I said, it just doesn't feel as strong as this first season of For Life. But like I said, seeing that first 2 episodes, saying they're not that strong, but like I said, I have to give it some time, I feel like, because those 2 episodes, as far as the second season, are still very good. They're still very good episodes. And I probably go watch and start from the beginning just to catch up and watch those episodes again, just so I can get in that mode again with this character. But if you have not seen For Life, it comes on ABC, and you can catch up on it on Hulu. And of course, you've got the Fire Stick. You already know the deal. But I'm just saying, man, you definitely need to check this out if you like other TV shows, as far as like When They See Us, or if you like, Prison Break. It's other shows out there, as far as involving the justice system, and like even Law and Order situations they done had in the episodes they done have on Law and Order SUV and stuff. But you definitely should tune in. But this was definitely a learning lesson as far as watching the show and watching everything these guys go through, and knowing even with certain situations you go through in life, like, man, it ain't that bad, because being innocent and locked up is a whole different ball game. But I appreciate everybody for listening. This is the Low Key Podcast, episode 29, Life Ain't Free.
How are you here? Hard work and goodwill. What's your method?
Tell me how the hell this happened.
So apparently we figured out some totally insane loophole in the system.
Becoming a lawyer is what's getting me out.
I know you think your dad is coming back someday.